Welcome to another Crafting with Roswell. This week I will be showing you how to make a jewelry display stand using craft sticks. In your kit you will have 33 craft sticks. 2 of the craft sticks will already be cut for you into a sharp straight edge, along with the 2 small pieces that were cut off that you will also need. If your kit for some reason does not have these, you can just cut off about a 1/2 inch at the end using a pair of scissors. If you are having trouble with the scissors, if it makes your stick split, I have special scissors at the library. Just see me and I can help you get these 2 pieces squared away. You will also need hot glue or wood glue. I'm actually going to use a combination of the 2 for this project. I love the stability that you get from the wood glue holding a project together, and there are just certain parts where hot glue are easier to work with in terms of setup time. So if you end up needing to cut a piece, you'll need a pair of scissors. Suggested extras would be like paint and washi tape to decorate your jewelry stand when you're all done. So let's get started. I've done one step of this ahead of time just to save filming time, but I'm going to show you that we're going to go ahead and separate out 9 craft sticks into a pile, and then also separate 4 more craft sticks. So with these 9 craft sticks, we're going to create a grid pattern that we can use to hook our earrings through. So we have the 4 pieces used as our side borders, front and back, and the 9 pieces make up the grid up the middle. So the easiest way I found to do this was to take 2 of my border pieces and then work with my 9 inner grid pieces. So all I'm going to do is gently lay these out, leaving a little space in between. To start creating that upper grid, and you will end up with 2 of these for your project, a top and a bottom piece. Create a little more room so you can just keep changing spacings if they're not exactly squared across. Not a huge deal. Again, this is a homemade project and we're only human. Just trying to now allow enough spacing for all 9 sticks to fit across. Like so. And so since I have this set, all I'm going to use this cheaper nylon paintbrush to apply glue along this strip to then glue down this side without having to move all of these pieces. And I just want a nice light layer. It doesn't have to be too thick. We don't want it to ooze out anywhere. We just want enough to adhere to the wood sticks. So once I have my glue on, I'm just going to gently drop this onto the edge of my sticks. You'll have a little time to move things around. And then when you're happier, you can go ahead and press down. So even though this end has glue on it, this other end is still remaining flexible. I'm going to go ahead and take this other piece and do the same thing. Once this side is dried and connected, I will flip this over and attach my 2 bottom pieces to the ends to create that border. And you can go ahead and hold that down for just a little bit to help that glue adhere. And while that's drying, you can be working on your upper piece to do the same step. But since my upper piece is already set, I'm going to show you how to start building your base. So your base will consist of 3 more popsicle sticks, and then 2 popsicle sticks will become an upright stand to help hold this at an angle when we're all done. These other 2 craft sticks just end up being extra in my kit, just from the way I had counted mine out at the last minute. So to make your base, we're going to take 2 sticks again and have them vertical. Another popsicle stick, craft stick, is going to go across the end to each corner. So all I'm going to do is put a little glue on each end and then place this craft stick on. And to double check sizing, you can always line this up along the bottom of an upright you have done, just to make sure your base stayed as wide as your upper portion. And this would be more important if you end up extending these craft sticks beyond your borders. You're going to want to make sure that your base is as wide as these border pieces. So next up is going to be adding on these 2 items, which act as our feet. So I'm just going to add a little glue to each of these. And these feet are going to help keep our upright in place versus sliding off the end of our base. So I'm just matching the curve of the craft sticks to the curve of these smaller pieces and just building on right at the edge. So while these now dry, I'm going to come back over to this, flip it over, and add my 2 craft sticks on each side to finish out this side. Same as before, but a little easier now that there's an initial layer of glue holding everything together. Just place it along the edge to finish off the look of the sticks. You can use hot glue for all of these steps. Besides the stability of the wood glue for this project, the wood glue also gives you a very thin glue barrier between the popsicle sticks. With hot glue, you could end up having your project be a little thicker. It'll still work. It's just going to be a slightly different look. And they also have less hot glue strings to deal with this way. So I'm going to allow those 2 to set. I still have my 2 uprights, and we still have these 2 squared off pieces. These are actually going to be used as braces to connect this upper portion to this lower portion. So you can leave a little space in between those 2 in order for you to fully connect. And then it doesn't matter if this is up or down. You can kind of take a look at your project and see which you prefer to have face out, which you prefer to be the back side. So I think I'm going to flip that one over. Have that one be facing forward. Line these back up again. And then just add glue to this one side of this. And then place it evenly across to connect my upper and lower portions. Do the same thing on the other side. Give that a little time to dry, and then we'll be on to the step that I will use the hot glue for. So I'm all set with the wood glue. I have my base, my 2 feet pieces, my bar, this, and then I have my 2 supports. And this next step is the trickiest. If you have someone nearby who can help hold your project, I'd recommend that, but you can do it on your own. And make sure these are glued. Don't want the project falling apart while I assemble it. And the glue setup time is pretty quick. So this is now the front of my project, and this is now the back. So the next step is to add glue just before each of these feet. This is going to then sit into that glue at an angle. So let's do that step. I'm adding a generous amount of glue. I can always clean up the hot glue around the edges after, but I want a nice amount to hook into the bottom of my display stand. So there's my hot glue. I'm just going to take this piece, hold it at an angle, and push it into that hot glue. And this is where you can kind of decide the angle you want your project to be at. If you want it more upright or more laid back. And then in behind, we're going to use our support pieces. Let me see how I can show you this. Oops, I made that slide out. If it slides out, just put it back in. It's really not 100% stable until we add in these support pieces. So in the back, I'm going to add glue here and here, one side at a time. So I'm going to add glue here, and then at whatever angle I'm using my brace, I'm going to add glue along our back support beam and do the same for the other side. And this is hot glue, so be careful if you're using this for your project. If you decide not to use hot glue, you're just going to have a little more setup time with you having to hold your position for your project to set. So now that I've got that there, I'm just going to go ahead and add some hot glue up here to help hold my support beam in place. I'm going to give that a second to set up before I move on to the other side. You just want it to be able to kind of support the project while you work. You don't want it to fall down. This is where having a friend hold this piece up for you would be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and place that one in. Add glue where this one is. To do this first layer of gluing. You'll end up with little hot glue strings. You'll have a lot more of these if your whole project is hot glued. So just be prepared for a little extra cleanup. So I'm just going to let this sit for a second. And right now we're just a natural wood finish, but you can then paint this, use washi tape. There's all kinds of options for decorating your finished display stand. It doesn't have to stay all natural, although it is a pretty cute finish. So now that these are set up a bit, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little more hot glue around these feet, front and back, to help secure them in place. Just going along those seams and adding a little more glue. Same thing with my back support pieces. Just adding a little more glue over top. And adding a little more glue underneath. And I just let that set, clean up any glue strings, and there you have it. A display stand for earrings. You can have bracelets, necklaces hang off the sides, even little post earrings if you have some skinnier slats will fit through and be able to put the backer on the back. Dangly earrings can just hook through and hang down. And there is a display stand made using 33 craft sticks. If you have any questions, reach out to me at the library. If your pieces weren't cut, definitely reach out to me and I will help make that right. Reach out to me with any questions and I'll be back in 2 weeks with another kit project.